Hello, guys, and welcome to the Golf Podcast Live. I'm your host, Rafael, always here with Michael in Vancouver. I'm in Toronto. This is episode 103. And we got some great guests, headlines with Tiger Woods today, President's Cup, the three-peat with Steve Stricker on the PGA Champions. Special guest today, we've got Rob Snyder from Shape and Swelter. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Very quick condolence to Rob Zaminer, who was supposed to be on the show today. There was a death in the family. He is the NHLPA president and will be back on in October. But today, Rob, this is excellent. We reached out to each other, found out about this product, partnered up, and I'm excited to talk about your product. Tell us a little bit about yourself and what Shape and Swelter is all about.
So I came from the auto industry and made my way all the way up through management. And in 2018, I was down in Arizona on a golf trip, and someone gave me a pack of a product that's on the market that basically glues into your hat. So I put it on. It felt like driving a new car. But then what happened is by the end of the round, I had used 3 of them, and I had this brand new Phoenician hat that inside I put back on, and they said there leaves no residue, but it broke my head out in a rash. So on my way home, I started thinking about different ideas and started making homemade prototypes that have led to Shape and Swelter, which is a completely removable, reusable hat pad that you can leave out overnight and air dry, and you can switch out mid-round in a couple of seconds.
That's really exciting. It's a family-owned business. You're based in Lacey, Washington, and it's not just for golf, right? It's a great golf product, but you could use it, this cap system, if you will, on many different sporting caps, right?
Not just sporting caps, but even a fedora style hat fits right in there, doesn't come out easy. Even sunbonnet type hats, the full size piece fits right in there. So yeah, and fishermen, hunters, people playing golf, any other outdoor activity, people that walk and sweat like me, that's why I made it. It works for.
Amazing. Tell us how you came up with the name. It's a unique brand name. So tell us how you came up with that.
So basically, every single variation of sweat was being used, and so one day, my wife, we were thinking up ideas, and it was like, what about Swelter? Because first off, this shapes hat. So if it's a type of hat, like this floppy hat that's really nasty, by the way, it can hold it better than if this thing would just be sitting flat down. So that's how we came up with the Swelter part, and the shape part was I already needed some variation of shape, but sweat is a very common word. Mm-hmm. And so I was looking for a unique name, and it stuck, and I've got a registered trademark on it now.
Amazing. Now that addresses one of my pet peeves with caps is when the bridge falls down and it looks terrible. So
right.
Yeah, it's smart design.
If you're just joining us on social media or any of our platforms as we're live, we're here with special guest Rob Snyder from Shape and Swelter. That's shapeandswelter.us. You could get the product on Amazon. And it's a family-owned business. It's a great product. I can't wait to get it. And we were just talking about partnering up, possibly doing a whole bunch of giveaways to our listeners and viewers. So please stay tuned. I've never seen anything like this. Tell me a little bit about your experience on the Champions Tour. I heard that you went out, Rob, and you talked to some of the Champions PGA players about the product.
Correct. I'm blessed enough to live near Seattle, and they had just had the Champions Tour at Snoqualmie Ridge, and I'd never been. And I went up and witnessed some great golfers, and some of the old timers are up there. And I got to give several out. Boo Weekley got one, David Duvall, Rob Labritz actually got one as well, and several other names. And just to be there, and it was a hot day, and I walked around, and I actually changed one out mid walk because it was so muggy that day. And was able to keep hats, because hats like this I used to destroy. They would turn a different color gray immediately, and a hat like this would last me about an hour. And this was bought in Maui back in 2016, and it has one in there now. And you can even see a little discoloration. And that's just from when you wear them before you have it. Even if you're not sweating bad, we have skin oils and stuff that transfer. And even for women that like get makeup, this works for pretty much anybody to be able to easily remove that, because you saw me just take it out and say I'm on the course and I'm sweating, it's back in that quick. And it's already in. And this particular one holds that well, but look at what's holding it in. That small of a piece, because I can trim these down to customize. And if it wasn't quite low enough in a hat, I could literally cut just a little bit off the bottom and make it go a hair deeper. So it's very versatile and it's usable in almost any hat.
Well, that's great. Mike's going to try to queue up a pic and a video for us. And so these are reusable hat sweat pads, right? You mentioned how they work. That's pretty exciting. Is it eco-friendly?
Yeah. So what we have on the market is a company that's selling up to packs of 100 or 50 for $100, because they sell 6 for $25. I use 3 in one day. These will last you months. I've been using these over and over. Like I said, you can cut them down. They come in packs of 3, which is all you need. And I also have them in this nice Ziploc pack. So when you're out on the course, they fit right in the bag. You can put the wet one away. And at night, you just take them out and air dry them. And they really dry out fast in front of a fan. And you can actually rinse them out in the sink and use your own face soap and rinse them out, and they get softer and softer. And I've done them up to 5 times of washing them as well, doing that, and had them hold the seam on them.
I saw a comparison on YouTube, and I don't recall the name of the other brand, but it was a very heavy adhesive on the back of it. And so it seemed like once it was attached, that was it. It was living on
one hat and it's done, and you can't pull it out wet. So you spend the rest of the day with that wet hat feeling, which is exactly my experience and exactly why I invented this product.
Wow. I'm going to throw on your video, and you said it's just music in the background, so feel free to narrate it. If and walk us through the product. Here it comes.
Very quickly, these are sweat pads. They're reusable, they're eco-friendly, and they work with all types of caps.
Correct. Yeah, that's the blue end. I've taken people out of ones that were wearing panty liners in their head.
Very well done, Rob.
Thanks. I wish I could take credit for doing it myself, but I had to get a professional help with that.
My yard right here in my baseball cap. Now I like this hat.
Well, if you're just joining us, this is Rob Snyder. He's with Shape and Swelter. The product is amazing. Check it out on Amazon. Make sure to get some details on shapeandswelter.us. And thanks for joining us today.
Hey, thanks for having me.
Yeah, thanks, Rob. Enjoy the rest of your day.
You too.
All right, guys, we've got a lot to cover today in the world of golf. Tiger, once again, undergoes back surgery. He rejects the live offer, but now it's back on the table, supposedly. So really great there. I think we got some nice picks coming up about our topics. You know, is he worth $1 billion? Is Tiger Woods worth $1 billion? Put it into the comments. You know, send us a message. He's back in the news, not only for this deal, supposedly, with the PIF fund, but also with TaylorMade and his Sunday Red line, which is quite incredible, Mike. You know, just when you think Tiger is kind of going away and fading away, he makes the headlines once again with this incredible deal. He's got his clothing line, and then he's going for this microsurgery, his 6th back surgery. Any thoughts, Mike? I don't know what to say.
Well, you know, Tiger, we all want to see Tiger play. We know he's not able to practice enough. He's had how many surgeries? A dozen. He's had so many surgeries. He's like the bionic man. He's been completely rebuilt. And now he's got to go in again under the knife. So I'm leaning more towards where we're not going to see Tiger in contention anymore. It's and it's a shame. We're going to see honorary starts, and I hope I get to eat my words someday, because we all want to see Tiger in the mix and playing to his fine form. But how can you go through that many surgeries and be competitive? Golf's a difficult game. You got to be putting the reps in. You got to be working on it constantly. And the players are so good right now. I think we're going to be hard pressed to see Tiger in his peak form. Maybe on Champions Tour, when he can have a cart and he can walk comfortably, have the cart to ride between shots.
Yeah.
I think that might be where hopefully we see him in contention. Which hey, I'll take it.
I agree with you, Mike. Tiger undergoes this back surgery. Um, the report is that the PGA Tour is meeting with the Saudi PIF amid the rumored $1 billion golf deal. Then there's the partnership with his Sunday Red. I don't think he got as much traction as needed, but this merge with TaylorMade sounds fantastic, right? These negotiations are real. We're talking about Saudi Arabia's public investment fund doing the official negotiations. And this is according to ESPN's Mark Schlabach. Hopefully I pronounced his name right. And Adam Scott is part of the talks as well in New York City. So we'll see what happens. According to these reports, they're reporting to inject, I'm going to repeat, Mike, $1 billion into the PGA Tour enterprises and Tiger Woods. Now, what his cut is and how that happens, there will be a press release happening. It's just incredible. And Golf Digest Joel Beal also decided to move forward and talk about this. So it's not just rumors. There are some, key people talking about all of this.
TaylorMade is an expert to bring products to the market. I can see this being a big boost for Tiger's brand. We talked about it when it came out, and I personally am not a fan of the logo one bit. So I just say it looks like an elementary student designed it, in my opinion. And I know a few things about logos and branding. Would have liked to seen something better, but at the same time, it is Tiger Woods. I'm sure he's consulted professionals on dropping that out there. And it makes me wonder in that process what that was like, if Tiger just overstepped the designers and said, no, I want it to look like this. And then they just, washed their hands of it and released it. But I would suspect TaylorMade will get involved with shaping the brand going forward and, bringing it to market. They know what they're doing there. They've done a fantastic job with them, and when they're running Adidas as well. So let's see how this unfolds.
Yeah, they're going to keep the Sunday Red on their own website. They're going to be marketing it and talking about the merger. They've already been on the Golf Channel. I think the CEO was on there talking about the merger. Speaking of sponsors, this specific episode is brought to you by Shape and Swelter. We want to say hello and thank you to our new partner, Paradox Golf. So thanks, guys, for coming aboard. Castilla Roofing in Florida, as always, and Lagmaster Sports. Mike, it's been an entertaining weekend. Not only are we talking about Tiger, but Steve Stricker and his three-peat. I think his picture went viral with Michael Jordan when he won 3 in a row, and they're side by side with a cigar in their mouth doing this, right? Going like that. I don't know if we have, there it is.
There it is.
I love that pic. It's so not Stricker-esque because he's such a humble guy and usually crying on his interviews. But to see him, like that, it's pretty neat, don't you think?
It is. It makes me think of Matt Adams' story with Stricker. Remember, Stricker had quite a big victory, and Matt Adams is the reporter, and Matt had it was very hot. He was sweating, and his sunscreen was dripping into his eyes and was making him water up. And Steve Stricker mistook that for emotional tears about his
Right.
story. And yeah, if you can catch one of our old Matt Adams episodes, it is a great story.
Yeah, that's really great. It went to a 4-hole playoff with Green, who's playing so well this year on tour. Pretty incredible at the Sanford International. Um, you know, and he actually hit the pin on the approach shot, which was just incredible. After hooking his ball into the left rough, and Green just sitting 71 yards away from the flag, Stricker showed some old-fashioned, veteran savvy move with his gap wedge, and just incredible. I love watching the Champions Tour. I don't think it gets enough marketing and recognition with all these legends on tour and the newer guys like Labritz coming on and playing so well. We got Els and Alker and Longer still, pushing the envelope and, finishing T3 again at 7 under, Green at 8 under, Els at 7 under, walking with these guys. When I watch the tour, between 3 and 6 o'clock on the Golf Channel, at times, I'm surprised on how little the show up is. I really, really am surprised.
Well, I think that may improve, especially if we get to see Tiger out there a couple
Yeah.
years. I really hope so. But each season, there's more players coming out there. Boo Weekly, as our guest Rob Snyder just mentioned, like he's a character. So I think these guys, they're not really playing for money anymore. Most of them have made their money.
Yep.
And they're out there for the love of the game, and they're more interactive with fans. It's a really good product. So I'm hoping we start to see more attendance for these guys, just to make the galleries deeper. And I'm confident it'll get there, but it's worth going out to watch some of these veterans play golf. Like they are so good. And year after year, the fields are getting deeper because all of these players, we got Stuart Sinks eligible out there. He's trying to play both tours.
Yeah.
So it's we're in a good spot for Champions Tour. I think we're just going to get it better and better. And you really get the diehard fans who show up to these events. They're knowledgeable golfers who want to see these veterans, have a few more kicks at the can.
If you're just joining us, I'm here with Michael Bleackley. We're talking all things golf this weekend. Tiger undergoes back surgery, reflect on Live and the PIF Fund, Steve Stricker, three-peat. But let's not forget, U.S. wins the Solheim Cup this weekend, 50.5 to 12.5 for the Americans in Gainesville, Virginia, at that beautiful Robert Trent Jones golf course. And if you're joining us or you're watching us live, send us a message. Tell us what you think about these topics. We're on X, we're on Spotify, we're also on Apple and YouTube. So just fire us a question or a comment. Please, we will not get offended, I promise.
Not at all. Insult us if you want. We'll have a good laugh. And while you're at there on YouTube, hit subscribe because we need some love on that channel. We're doing okay in the other ones, but YouTube could use some help. Now, what do you think about President's Cup? I'm going to go back to a screen share here. I'm going to show you this window I've got here with the stare down. Look at these guys.
I love it.
Isn't
that is great. And, I got to tell you, Mike, there's I'm a little nostalgic over the whole President's Cup at Royal Montreal Golf Club. Obviously, I'm former assistant teaching professional at that facility in the mid-2000s. You and I experienced the 2007 President's Cup there when Mike Weir had that great playoff with Tiger Woods and took Tiger down, the U.S. winning, of course. Mm-hmm. It's an incredible golf course, old Dick Wilson design. I don't know where to start because I could go on for an hour about this President's Cup.
Let's just throw back to 2007. There's a few key things that happened behind the scenes that were really cool. Rory Sabatini's wife, I'm not sure if they're still together or not, but she took it upon herself to get all the other wives to wear Montreal Canadiens jerseys. Do you remember that, Raph? And all the wives were walking around the golf course with the Habs jerseys on. It was really cool. I actually got
Yeah.
to chat to Rory Sabatini's wife twice while wandering around that day. And one other point that doesn't really get shown too much on old footage, but people were screaming, "Fight, fight, fight, fight," while Tiger and Weir were walking down the fairways during that epic match play battle. So it was electric. And for Weir to pull off the win, it was fantastic.
Yeah, there's a lot of great stories that we could tell about that weekend. But moving forward into this President's Cup, U.S. captain Jim Furyk with international captain Mike Weir, we've got a lot of great Canadians on board, which is going to make this epic. And the 13th player on the international team, and you might be saying, what is that? That's the crowd. That's what Mike is talking about. There is something to be said specifically about Montreal fans that is very unique to sport.
Yeah.
That's my hometown. I grew up there. People love their golf. They love their hockey, and you're going to get that crowd being very vocal, very much like a New York crowd
Yes.
at the Ryder Cup. And so that's going to be just unbelievable to watch. And I've got to say, with Hideki, Sung Jae, Adam Scott, Tom Kim, Jason Day, Byung Hun An, Christian Bezadenhut, Corey Connors, Mackenzie Hughes, Siwoo Kim, Minwoo Lee, and Taylor Pendrith. I got to tell you, as a Canadian, Mike Weir had the opportunity to make this a legacy team with more Canadians. Now, how can you not have the Canadian Open winner on this team?
Mm-hmm. That's a tough call. He even said it, right? Leaving Nick Taylor off, who's arguably one of the hot players for Canada right now. We'll see how that plays out. If international team wins, which I want to call it Team Canada now, if we win, then everything will be okay. But if there's a loss, the U.S. takes down this event, then Mike Weir's going to have to answer for that, right? And it's a great argument. Who does he decide? Does he put 4 Canadians on, add Nick Taylor, and knock off? Who do you knock off for that?
Adam. Yeah. Well, there's Adam Hadwin who was in the sidelines as well, but they didn't play well enough leading up to all of this. But really, it was a situation where I was hoping that one of the guys wasn't able to make it out for whatever reason. But you would think that you would have at least 4 Canadians on board so they could do a double pairing of Taylor and Mackenzie, Corey Connors and Nick Taylor, for example, so that you could have 2 Canadian teams out there going at once to switch it up. I know they're going to mix it up, but they're going to pair up the Canadians. Mm-hmm. It's a little bit more difficult with the oddball 3 pairing, right?
I think that would have been really interesting too, Raf, having 4 Canadians, the ability to put 2 teams out there, guys who are really comfortable with each other. That wouldn't have been a terrible move on Weir's part to have 2 teams. These guys played together, they have dinner together, they fly together. They're going to gel really well. So I see, like, time will tell. I think, and this is weird as Canadians. We kind of tend to always support the U.S. teams, like the U.S. Ryder Cup team, and
of course.
And in this scenario, being in Canada, 1/4 of the team is Canadians, so you can't help but be rooting for the international team this time around. So it's going to be really interesting.
If you're just joining us, welcome to the Golf Podcast with Raf and Mike. Very special thanks to all our new sponsors and our new partners, Shape and Swelter, Paradox Golf, Castilla Roofing, Lagmaster. How are you guys doing? Look, send us your comments. We're pretty excited to partner up with all these people. We got some great guests coming up later this month. Rob Labritz, John Cook, Alex Maselli, Stephen Ames. So look forward to all of that. We're on every Monday. Make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel. I think we're going to continue talking about President's Cup. I can't help. Just one more headline. Hall of Famer Mark O'Meara announces retirement is a big one. We're a big fan of Mark, watching him, play. over all these years. You know,
Yeah.
you and I are both 50 years old, 51 for you, Mike. I think you're older than I am.
Yeah.
That's not very nice.
No,
This
I know.
is a family-based show. No,
Yeah.
yeah. And look, we are excited. We're excited to talk about the President's Cup. Mike, your thoughts on this U.S. team? The U.S. Who are you going to put against Scotty Scheffler? Let me just mention the names: Xander Schauffele, Colin Morikawa, Wyndham Clark, Patrick Cantlay, Sahith Theegala, and moving on to Keegan Bradley, Sam Burns, Tony Finau, Brian Harman, Russell Henley, Max Homa. It's a tall order, Mike.
It is a tall order. I'm going to put that graphic back up, but okay. Putting Scotty versus that's a real tough one. I think Minwoo Lee,
Wow.
right? He's an excellent golfer, and I think he has the confidence to go after Scotty Scheffler.
You know, I think it's a situation just like with Tiger Woods, and you're going to have to, at some point in the singles, put a Canadian with Scotty Scheffler. I think, you know, based on play and consistency, you're going to have Corey Connors going out in singles against Scotty Scheffler. That's my prediction.
Yeah. Okay. I mean that's not a bad play. You have the home crowd behind someone like Corey Connors. I think out of the Canadians, I would choose Corey against Scheffler as well.
Right.
But yeah, I think that's Mike Weir's got a tough choice on that one. So we'll see. Like I said, I stick with Minwoo Lee. I think he's such a solid golfer that he could rise up to the occasion and go after Scheffler. And remember, it is match play, so it's a little different.
Yeah.
So yeah, I stand by that. Who else? Who's number two on this team? Is it Xander's? Pretty safe to say.
Well, if we look through, we go through the list. Let's scroll down through that list. I mean, Jim Furyk is no slouch. He knows his boys, and he's going to trust them to come through on this one. Sahith Theegala is playing really well right now. Keegan Bradley is sort of the a dark horse who should have been on the Ryder Cup team, playing some fantastic golf, coming up with a win. But you got to think about this style of golf course, Mike. Narrow fairways. Many of these fairways are 25 to 30 yards wide. They run out on some of the holes. For example, like on 18, dogleg left over the pond, you know, tight greens. And you got to see who's driving it straight. So I see someone who's a little bit more of a bulldog, someone like Brian Harman playing really well at this golf course. So look out for him. And then I'm looking at somebody like Mackenzie Hughes, who's been, you know, driving it okay, and someone with experience like Adam Scott playing well against somebody who's driving it really straight.
Mm-hmm. Adam Scott's got a ton of experience in these style of events, and he's a great driver of the ball. So I don't think he'll have too much of a challenge with Royal Montreal. And there's a sixth gear with match play that certain players are able to tap into, and it could be anybody. Like we might see Russell Henley,
Yeah.
just pick it up and go, be undefeated for the week. Like anything can happen, but both teams are. I mean, if you look at these teams, there's a lot. There's veterans on each team. There's some new players like Max Homa. He's been on a few teams already, and Sam Burns, but they're in the younger generation. They don't have the battle scars that some of these players have, and you got Keegan Bradley, who's like he's like a fourth line grinder who you can never count out. He has got no fear, and he has got the ability to really ratchet down and fight in match play. So, uh, again, this is so exciting to watch because high level match play. It doesn't happen. I mean, if we get the Ryder Cup, we get the President's Cup. We do not have the match play event on tour anymore. So
Yeah.
this is it. And it means something. There's your international pride is on the line here.
I agree. Unlike 2007, when you looked at the kind of legendary captains they had on the team, like Jack Nicklaus and Gary Player, and at Royal Montreal, it looks like the elder statesmen in this game are actually players as well. So if you look at Adam Scott or Keegan Bradley, right, who's going to be on the Ryder Cup captaincy, it's pretty incredible that they're actually players. So those are the guys, the younger guys are going to be looking up to. And I think Mike Weir is going to be able to make some great decisions based on his lifelong experience. He's doing really well in the Champions Tour as well. He's up there making some money this year and placing well. So he's a great player. Just remember, Mike Weir is still playing. He played the Canadian Open, and he plays quite a bit. And he's so fit. It's great to see all these guys playing and doing so well. Let's segue really fast to what happened this weekend. If we could pull up that pick. U.S. wins the Solheim Cup 15.5 to 12.5 in Gainesville, Virginia at that Robert Trent Jones golf course. Pretty incredible, that these girls pulled it off and did what they did. What a great photo. What a great photo.
It is. That's fantastic.
I don't know if you had a chance to watch this, but Captain Stacy Lewis did a great job. You had Paula Kramer as a vice, and it's during Sunday singles matches they really put on a show, and I can't believe how consistent these girls are in hitting fairways, hitting greens, hitting it so close. Beautiful pre-shot routines, the talking between the caddies. It's really great television. I don't know why they don't get the numbers.
Well, yeah, you'd think an event like this would get better numbers than it does. There is a lot of golf on these days. There's so much of it. So, arguable it's oversaturated. To be honest, I didn't see a lot of promotion regarding the Solheim Cup. And usually I'm in tune with that. So unless you're watching the Golf Channel regularly, but I didn't see much indications out there for people to be aware that it was on. So is that something that governing bodies of the Solheim Cup and LPGA need to consider? Is better outreach? Like the LPGA Tour is phenomenal. These women are absolute sticks. They are. Their wedge game, their consistency is unrivaled, really. So, you see this argument through all of pro sports like WNBA and all of that, and you're looking for parity with salaries and all that. That's such a complex issue, and it's something that it all comes down to who's buying tickets and the TV deals. Right?
Yeah.
They don't have strong enough TV deals to support the higher salaries and all of that. And it's not that they don't deserve it. The LPGA, the field is so deep. And an event like the Solheim Cup it's a shame, really. It also, just a side note, but regarding Solheim Cup, Paula Creamer and Stacy Lewis as captains and are the veterans of the LPGA. And I remember when they got started, it doesn't seem that long ago. And it's just pretty wild to see that here these two women are the captains and the veterans that the young ones are looking up to is crazy. Just like a sign of how old we're getting.
Yeah, absolutely. And I want, if you don't watch women's golf, give it a try. You're watching players like Rose Zhang, who really led the team, who's an incredible player. The match with Carlota Ciganda. She closed out the match with the Spaniard 6-4 and got the 12th U.S. point. That was really incredible. And there were so many great matches, just for Americans to go undefeated in Virginia. Then you had Allison Corptuz. She followed suit after that. That was really cool. And you remember Anna Nordquist, her being vice captain was very cool to see as well. 4-3 to put her within, one point at one time. So lots of great girls to watch. Esther Henselite, great European golfer. Céline Boutier, another great golfer. And then the Virginia resident and home state hero, Lauren Coughlin, basically got the birdie putt to win the cup, right? Which was really cool. Maya Stark, lots of great players. So I'm going to suggest watch LPGA golf, support women's golf because it's on another level. And if major sponsorship comes in, we can see already the purses have gone up tremendously in the sport. It's great to see.
They definitely have. Following up to what I was saying earlier, that they have improved. And go to an LPGA event. They are unbelievable. You can get real close. Go hang out on the driving range and just watch them play and warm up. And it is so impressive. Just like any pro tour driving range, it's really the place to be. And you might get lucky and catch a player sometimes who might sign an autograph for you or talk to you.
Start up a conversation. It's unlike any other sport as how you could get close to the player. So I'm going to suggest Rob Snyder did earlier from Shape and Swelter. He went to the Champions Tour event, got to chat with a lot of players, even got to talk about his product, which is fantastic, our new partner, Shape and Swelter. So that's really exciting, Mike. We've got some great guests coming up. I'm really excited about the end of this golf season, kind of working its way up towards the President's Cup and all the Canadians going out to watch that. Big special thanks again to Lagmaster Sports for their amazing training school tools. We've got Castilla Roofing out in Florida, Paradox Golf. Now we're going to be talking a lot about Paradox coming up. It's the cart and bag combo where you pop the wheels onto the cart and it unfolds the handle and you're off to go. So make sure you check out Paradox Golf.
Yeah. Jeff is sending us one of these bags and cart combos to try out. So I'm really looking forward to seeing the build quality because Jeff has pointed out how great it is, and I can't wait to see that product. We are going to be talking about some giveaways for that product as well. That's pretty big. It's a big value. I believe it's about $500 US. So that's like $12,000 in Canadian dollars, and we are going to be giving one away. So look forward to that. And again, smash subscribe, follow us on our channels, whatever they may be. It goes a long way. That's the world we live in these days. It helps drive the algorithm. So please jump in and comment. Even throw poke fan at us. We don't care.
Yeah, thanks for joining us. You've been listening and watching the Golf Podcast live on 17 different platforms. Make sure you just give us a hello and a subscribe, like Mike said. And for Michael Bleackley, I'm Rafael Kalamat. You've been listening to the Golf Podcast live.